Typhoon Racing is the boat to watch right now. They have come up from the back of the pack. They are challenging Offshore Addiction. It's Glenn Murray and Randy Shoes from New Jersey, and they are trying to move on the outside of the wake, and that should be the second place boat. There it is, Offshore Addiction. That's Mike Milligan and Lance Hendrickson. They are just trying to hold on at this point.
You know, Lance Hendrickson's looking over his shoulder. He sees Schluss coming up from the back. They know that that's a tough boat. And as soon as a boat gets on your hip like that, you are watching everything they do. As you saw Schluss carry a wider line, he's trying to carry more speed. He's got that boat set very far back on the tail, trying to get every little bit of speed he can get. And look at as he makes his way through. He is gaining ground on him every single turn.
He is, and he's not afraid to go inside or out. He's crossed over the wake, and it didn't even bother the boat at all. That boat is riding so high and so light. There you see the difference. The second place boat is the leader to the right of your screen, and right in the dead center of your screen is Typhoon, and Typhoon continues to close.
Well, Typhoon Racing is taking the wider line, which is allowing him to carry more speed through the turns. Lance Hendrickson is taking the short line around the course, but he cannot go around the turns as fast when he's got to chop the throttles to get around the turn.
Right at this point, Offshore Addiction has one thing on the mind of both the throttleman and the driver. Keep that boat back in third, and we mean Typhoon Racing, but I don't think they're going to do it. Typhoon Racing continues to close them, this time with the advantage on the turn. They were on the inside. It forces Offshore Addiction to go outside.
Now, the one thing that comes in right here is Lance Hendrickson didn't want to give up the inside position on that, but he knows he's got the inside line for every other turn on the racecourse right now. Typhoon's going to go wide. Typhoon's best move right now is probably going to be to dive to the inside of Offshore Addiction, but he is moving ahead of him right now.
You can still see they're using those hand signals aboard Typhoon as he's saying, go, go, go get him. But how much more speed can they get out of that boat, Martin?
Well, they're not going to be able to get much more. You can see that they've got the tabs up. They've got the drives out there. They've got it set as loose as they possibly can. They're trying to take the inside line. They went a little wider around that race course than they needed to on that last turn. But look at the straightaway speed they have as they come across into the start-finish line, running parallel to the 7-mile bridge.
Neck and neck. Look at that. As Typhoon tries to take the edge, they are scored on laps, and who's leading at the end of each lap as they cross the start-finish line. And there you can see Typhoon is taking advantage on the outside, again trying to catch him. The angles throw off a little bit. They are still running in third, but it's just a matter of time the way it looks because they keep closing them down.
Typhoon Racing's got to do everything they can. As soon as they get that edge, they've got to get 50 feet on the boat in front of them before they can take away their lane, Dick. So what they're doing is they can't come across and slam the door on Offshore Addiction yet because they don't have 50 feet of boat length between the transom of one to the stern of the other. So they're waiting to get a little bit more room so they can dive on the inside and hold the lead for good.
But you can see that Glenn Murray and Randy Shoes are looking off to their left-hand side. They are seeing now that they have taken over second place. But as Martin said, they cannot cut inside just yet. They're going to just try to hold the boat out there and get there enough margin where they can go inside and cut off the lane.
Well, Lance Hendrickson knows that, and that's why he's holding the inside line. But Typhoon Racing needs to move to the inside as they go around these turns. It looks like the next turn they are indeed going to have their 50-foot margin. So I would expect to see Typhoon Racing and Randy Schluss dive that boat more to the inside and absolutely solid up the lead that he has over Offshore Addiction.
Now, you'd love to know what's going through their minds because they look almost relaxed in there, but they seem very confident. They now have that space. They are just about to the point where they can cut back inside, and that will definitely put the Offshore Addiction boat in the third place solid, and they're going to have trouble catching them at this point.
Well, there is nothing like the adrenaline that goes through you after you've overtaken a boat. You work hard to get them, and now they definitely have a lead on them. Now they're in second place, but when you combine that with having started at the dead back of the pack, that's quite an accomplishment.